welcome to a new episode of Titina Stokes, the talk show for Eurovision lovers. And first of all, welcome George. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm so happy and excited to be with you again.
That's good to have you here. And do remember that you can follow us. If you haven't done it already, please do click just where George is, it's like below him, there's a little box with the subscription. Click on the box for the subscription and click on the bell to get all the notifications about the new updates of this channel.
We are now on the road to Eurovision again, to Eurovision 2022.
Indeed.
And we'll be having someone very special with us again, another contestant from Festival Da Canção 2022. Who is she?
Oh, lovely Portugal. Exactly. Yes, babe. So, gentle ladies and gentle gays, but also gentlemen, please welcome with a big round of applause our sweet and super talented Maru.
Hello, she's
Maru.
Here.
Welcome to the Gaily.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the Gaily Mirror, my dear. So, how are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm good.
Is it like busy day rehearsing for the Festival Da Canção?
Not rehearsing yet, but busy for sure. Yeah, I'm working on my upcoming album and the little things that go with it. So busy, but good busy.
So good. Don't anticipate that because we are going to ask you a few questions about that too. Now, Maru, you're a Portuguese, so very young one and beautiful, talented woman, bringing the art of music around the world. From a very young age, I would say. Let me give our spectators, our watchers, a few little numbers just to clarify that. So, you started at the age of 4 studying classical piano, and you actually got a diploma, high school diploma, plus a conservatory diploma at the age of 17. So you did both things at the same time. Bada bang. Congratulations, baby.
Yeah, thank you.
So, at the age of 11, you wrote your first song, and at the age of 12, you started learning to play guitar like an autodidact. Now, guitar is an essential instrument of your composition process. So, first of all, congratulations for all these achievements. I mean, this is something few people can actually achieve. But I'm actually curious to understand, was there anyone in your family who walked you to to discover the beauty and the magic of music? Or was it something that a 4-year-old Maru felt like it was the way to go?
No, it was for sure my mom. She's a music teacher, and an incredible one too. And she always, from singing to us, my siblings and I, when we were kids, to putting us in music school when we were 4, and kind of, she was really the force behind it. And sadly enough, because right now at this point I look back, I'm like, why did I not? But it was even a bit of a struggle sometimes because I wanted to play soccer and tennis and skateboard, and I didn't want to go to school and have to sit on a table and study, or at the piano. So it was kind of more of a family thing, and we had a deal where my mom told us you have to study up until 9th grade, and then you can quit. But that's all I ask in the music world, just because she knows it's, she studies the impact in kids and everything with regarding music, and it's so good that she just had this kind of, you don't need to do anything with this, you just need to do all these years to make sure you kind of have all these things that are good for you. And only later, really, that was when I was 19. That's when I was like, wait, I actually can't not think about music or just, I just have music all the time in my head, and I didn't even realize it was such a big part of me, because it was always kind of this thing I had to do. It was really later that I realized that it actually wasn't because of my mom anymore. It was actually never, it was it started from there, but then it was just living in me the whole time. It was it wasn't something that I was kind of okay, I'll do it, and then ciao, because I can't relate to it at all. It's kind of huge in me. But then at the same time, I had this struggle with, I don't want to study. And so yeah, it's, I guess,
like a normal teenager would do anyway.
Yeah, I'm totally sure that there were very tough times while growing up and studying and developing yourself as a professional singer. We would like to know, like, how did you balance your normal life as a teenager or even a child through this whole path you were doing, and how did you overcome all the difficult moments that you had to face without giving up your dreams?
As a musician, well, that's the thing. Up until I was 19, my dream wasn't music at all. I wanted to be well, I guess a biologist or really a veterinary, like something related to the animals, and that was really where I stood for most of my life, really, up until 19. And so it really was more of a thing that, I have to do, but it's kind of whatever I have to do. And then at 19, suddenly I was like, wait, no, I want to do music. And when I realized that, I just kind of been going for it. I just kind of jump, and then we'll see what happens and what comes out of it. But I haven't had those struggles, and at the time I didn't either, because I didn't know I wanted to do music.
And talking about jumps, actually, you did make big jumps, I would say, from Portugal to Boston, and then to LA, to a much warmer destination. Congrats! Where another famous Portuguese lady lives, which we all love, which is Daniela Rua. Hi, Daniela Rua, if you're listening to us, like, we love you. So, what took you to LA?
I think it's just for everybody that studies at Berkeley, I guess, there's really like, 3 or 4 places you can go. You can go to Atlanta or Nashville if you want more like R&B or soul, or Nashville kind of country folky stuff. And then there's LA and New York, which is really, New York is kind of more oriented to jazz still, even though, you can do any music anywhere, obviously, and everybody knows that, but it's good for the jazz scene too. And then LA, it's more for the pop, and in the end, I knew I wanted to stay in the States, at least for a while. And I think just the fact that I definitely want to go more towards the pop scene, but also just because even though it's way further away from Portugal, it's kind of closer in terms of it. There's beach, and there's always kind of like this nice weather and sunny days, and that kind of really was the deal breaker for me. It's like, okay, I love New York, but the fact that I could just go somewhere where it's always sunny, and I had 2 of my best friends over there anyway, so it was kind of easy to decide in the end. It was like, well, let's
Los
go.
Angeles. Didn't you miss Portugal?
Yeah. Yes. I have, I'm a super family person. Had this really, not dependency. It's not something bad. It's just I'm very, very, like, I lean a lot towards my family, and luckily I have this amazing family. And so I think that is something that, kind of every day I'm like, it sucks that to do what I want to do and to go where I want to go. I can't, at the same time, I can't like just go to my grandma's every day and kind of just, go in and out, but I get to see them every day when I'm here. And then when I'm far away, that becomes a bit hard, but I think it's normal too, so it's just a matter of trying to remember my priorities and what I want to do, and make sure that I get to come back as often as possible to.
So how did you come up with your artist name, or your Maru? What's the origin of it?
Maru, it started really because a friend from Kenya would call me that, and it kind of stuck. It's like a nickname. Sometimes because to be honest, I find it a bit weird when people call me Mariana, because it became such a, my parents and my siblings and my family calls me that. But Maru is like what all my best friends call me that. And so if somebody that I don't know comes and calls me Mariana, it's actually a bit weird. Just because it started as a really really good friend from Kenya started calling me Maru, and then and it kind of, other people start calling, and other people start calling, and I also I kind of always had this like dream that I'd love to one day have a nickname, because for some reason I never had one. And so when this started, I actually loved it, and for like a year and a half it completely like spread. Yeah, and so at that point, like a year and a half after, I was like, actually I should change my artist name for that, because it was weird to me that I had that, you know, that I would play in Boston and people would be like, next, Mariana Seca, and just say my name in a way that I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, Maru, you've worked with so many famous artists, being such a young artist too. And let me name a few of them, because we do like a bit of names. So, Rui Veloso, very famous. Tigran Hamassian, I hope I got it pronounced well. Then Fatay and Carolina Deslandes, and now with Jacob Collier, or Collier, I don't know. So what do you think each one of them gave you that you can treasure and cherish, and which of them instead was the corporation that you think gave you the most of everything?
Well, I think with every person in my life, I think I always take something, famous or not famous. In the end, I don't think it's about that. As a structure in terms of work and everything, I mean, Jacob was just such a big piece of my music world, really, because, you know, I'm a bit nerdy when it comes to music, in terms of I love like ear games and rhythms and all these things, but at the same time, my music doesn't really, like, for some reason, what I write doesn't super explore that in a way. I mean, obviously comparing to Jacob. And so not only it was so much fun to do all these things that I love doing, and and at a level that I can and be pushed, and not kind of like, it's fun, but more like, like I love using my four members, like both arms and both legs, to make music and do all these fun things on stage. But also, exactly, he's just an awesome person, and it was also the first time I like toured for a whole year, and the fact that it wasn't my show was amazing, because I got to experience most of it, and at the same time, in still kind of like a relaxed and reserved way, and so I just got to watch a lot of it and learn. So I think, I mean, Jacob, and he knows, I've told him so many times, but he's just he's just a massive part of my path in a gorgeous way. So yeah.
Thank you. So now, speaking of your entry to Festival Da Canção, so then the name of the song that you are competing with is called Saudade, which happens to be one of the few words, if not the only word in Portuguese, that cannot be translated. So for all our non-Portuguese speakers here, Saudade is a feeling. It's a Portuguese word that could be translated of missing someone or something, like something that we cherish, someone very tender to us. And we would like really to know what is the message that you are willing to give with your song.
But I didn't really try and bring a message. I think I kind of was in a studio with my best friend, and we were kind of like just writing and see what comes out. And then in the end, the song came out, and you know, I posted it on Instagram and talked about how it's about my granddad that unfortunately passed away end of 2020, and you know, it was kind of like a really rough year and a struggle, really. And so when we started writing, it kind of suddenly I started writing about him, and then the whole song kind of kept going, and that was it. But it was never really a let me try and pass this message. Also, because I know Saudade is such a, you know, it has been done, and in the end, I feel like if I had tried to do something specifically for the festival, I would probably, like, if it was something more like thought out, I would have probably stayed away from the word saudade, really. But it just, it just came out, and it's true. The lyrics are so, it's real. I've tried writing like a million songs since he left, and it's just, 1 out of 20 are 1 out of 20 aren't about him. Like, it's just like kind of the whole year, I just kept on. It's like I couldn't write about anything else. It just didn't make sense. And so maybe if there's any message people can take from it, it's just that some relationships give us a lot, and when we don't have those people in our lives anymore, it's it's hard, but at the same time there's a lot to remember in a good way. So that's why kind of the chorus ends up being more upbeat and everything, because it's so sad, and I'm still really like broken about it, but at the same time I've been trying to hold on to all these amazing things that he left me, and I hope the song passes that in like some sort of way, kind of like, yeah, you really miss somebody that you absolutely adored and that was your whole world, but at the same time there's this like almost feeling of celebration of the person.
Such a sweet
Definitely.
message. Sorry, I mean, that really touches my soul. Very heart touching. Let's talk a bit gossip, so to cheer us up a bit. So amongst the other contestants to Festival Da Canção, which do you fear the most, and which songs instead do you like?
Well, I really don't want to sound I don't know, cocky or fake humble when I say this, but I'm not really thinking of the festival as a competition. More like I'm just happy that I got to put a song out and that I got to already kind of be a part of this amazing festival, and I'm actually just excited to see them all playing live. Like, whoever wins in the end, I think the thrill of it is really gonna be like to be there and to see it live, because usually you're on the other side of the screen, right?
Okay. So what would it mean for you to represent Portugal at the Eurovision Song Contest, and how fan are you of this event?
I mean, it'd be awesome to represent Portugal. I think it's, obviously I said at this point I'm already really happy I was a part of it, but obviously it's like to know your country voted for something you did to represent you in Europe. It's a big thing. It's a big thing, and it would be, it'd be awesome. It'd be super awesome. And I'm, even when when I'm abroad and everything, I'm such a Portuguese like stan, like a Portugal stan. Like I'm always kind of, yeah, Portugal's the best, blah blah, Portugal. So it'd be super awesome. And exactly, I don't follow it like fanatically, the whole thing, but I always follow it like the normal amount. And so I think it's awesome, like to see all these countries coming with different songs and the performances, and how there's like so many people like you guys, like into it and checking other artists and like the artists from each country. And I think the whole thing is awesome, really. So it'd be really fun to represent Portugal.
So Maru, we would like to know what is boiling in your pot. What sort of projects what are you planning for after Festival Da Canção?
So this album that I'm gonna start releasing right after the festival, I think. So which is why I've been completely like off, and then some other projects down the line that I kind of don't want to say anything about yet, but it's just kind of, COVID stopped everything for 2 years, and I kind of accepted it and was like, okay, fine. And then 2022 started, and I was just like, let's go. So I'm currently like starting to try and get back to all these projects that were kind of like stopped for a bit, and now like let's make them happen, So that's good.
Do we have a date, more or less, just for us to get ready?
Like third week of March, I should have the first single out.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Will it be like a Portuguese album or an international album?
It's pretty international, this one.
We can't wait. We can't wait
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Well, Maru,
we'll see.
you gave us a lot of your time and we loved having you here with us. But we need to, round up this interview with the usual tricky bastard question that we always ask to all our guests. Now, the question would be, what is the question that no one has ever asked you, but that you cannot wait to answer to?
It's tricky. I think sometimes the questions stay a lot in the music world, which obviously I'm a musician, it makes sense. But sometimes I think I'd like to talk more maybe about other passions or other bubbles of life. So not just how I write my songs or who I want to collab with in terms of like recording a song, but more like maybe like if you in 5 years is there any other thing you want to be doing? And I mean, not that it's something I definitely want to answer, but for example, I think film and photography, I think that's a thing that I imagine myself starting to do pretty seriously in a few years. And who knows, maybe take over the music world. I don't know. Not that I super want to answer this, but I think maybe that's a thing that I feel like sometimes I'm curious to think if people are gonna ask stuff kind of like more outside of the music world. And so I guess if that's the specific question, kind of like what other thing you do seriously, maybe that could be a cool thing. So then I could actually talk about
movie and photography.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like film. I'm absolutely like enamored. I don't know how to say it in English. Like
in love yeah.
With
apaixonada com film e fotografia. Well, Maru, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us, sharing your time with us, and telling us more about you. Boa sorte. Good luck with Festival Da Canção. So break a leg, and we'll see you live on that stage.
Thank you.
Bye everybody, and thank you for watching us. Bye.
Bye.